Hi guys, and welcome back to Aisha.Academy, and this is the last video on the June 2017 Edexcel Foundation series. So let's get right into it. Oh, by the way, if you want to watch paper 1 and paper 2, I'll put the link in the description box down below. They're already on the channel. So let's get right into it. Okay, so in this first question, we've got, so let me just zoom in so it's clear. We've got a table that shows a length of rivers, 5 rivers. We need to write down the rivers in order of length. So you're literally just going to write, it says start with the shortest river, so you want to start with the smallest number. So that would go from Don to Mersey to Trent to Thames, then 7. Because remember, you want to start from the smallest length to the largest length. Okay, and then it goes on to say, Ami says that the River Thames is more than 3 times as long as the River Don. So is Ami correct? So because this is a calculated paper, what I would input is, we know that the River Thames is 346 kilometers, and the river, so I'll circle that, and then the River Don is 112. So if you do the River Thames, which is 3, there's quite a few ways you could do this, but if we do the River Thames, which is 346, divided by 3, divided by 112, and put that into your calculator, so 346 divided by 112, you get an answer of 3.08. So because it's now showing us that yes, it's 3.08 times bigger, it's definitely more than 3 times bigger than the River Don. So yes, Ami is correct. And there's several ways you could have worked this out. You could have done the River Don times 3, and that would be 336. And so the River Thames being 346 is definitely bigger than this 336, and so on. So any method, as long as you have working out to back your statement, is completely fine. All right, so let's go on to question 2. So question 2, it says cups are sold in packs and boxes. There are 12 cups in a pack. There are 18 cups in a box. So it says Ali buys P packs of cups and B boxes, and we basically need to write this in an expression. So in an expression, it says that the packs is represented by P, and there's 12 cups per pack, so 12P plus, and then there's 18 cups in a box, so it'd be 18B, because that's what box is represented by. And that's literally it. So you'd write it like that. You would not add them actually together and write it like this, because when it comes to algebra and you've got 2 different letters, when you're adding them together, they remain separate. They would only be squished together if you were multiplying, but we're not. So, and then question 3, here are 4 digits, so 5, 6, 1, and 9. So write down the smallest possible 2-digit number that can be made. Well, the smallest one is going to have to start with the 1, realistically. And so if I'm now thinking of my tens number, I want it to have a small unit as well. So then that the smallest unit next after the 1 being used is the 5, so it'll be 15. And then write down the 3-digit number closest to 200 that could be made. So 200, if I'm thinking of numbers that are going to be close to 200, they're either going to be starting with 200 or starting with the 100s, getting closer to 200. So I'm going to write a 1 as it's my hundreds. It's going to be the 1/100s. Then I need to think of my tens and my units. So in terms of my tens, because I'm thinking of a number that's closest to 200, I basically need a massive 100 number. So then the next biggest number is going to be 9. And then the next bigger number after that would be the 6. So it would be 196. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so question 4 says 4/5 of a number is 32. What is that number? So looking at this question, where it will trip up a lot of students is that people would now start working out 4/5 of 32, but no, because 32 is the 4/5. So we need to work backwards to work out what the actual 5 out of 5, aka 100% of this value is, because it's only equal to 4/5. So to do that, I do have a video in terms of fractions if you want to refresh your memory of adding, subtracting fractions, simplifying them, in the description box down below and suggested above. But cracking on with this, so 4/5 equals 32. So to do that, we are going to work out what 1/5 is first. So to work out what 1/5 is, we need to divide 32 by 4. If you put that into your calculator, you'd get 8. So then now to work out what 5/5 is, aka a whole, you're going to times by 5. And so you do 8 times 5, which would leave you with an answer of 40. So we're moving on to question 5. So question 5 says a path is made up of white tiles and grey tiles, and a quarter of the tiles are white. So it wants us to write down the ratio of white tiles to grey tiles. So if we know a quarter of the tiles are white, to work out how many are grey, you would do 1 minus a quarter, which would be 3/4. So we know 3/4 of them are grey. So if you've got 1/4 white and 3/4 grey, that is a quarter to 3/4, but this is not properly written in terms of as a ratio, because in a ratio you don't really want fractions, you want whole numbers. And I have a video on ratios in the description box down below to refresh your memory on that. So what we can do is, because they both have the quarter, we could cancel that out. So it would be a 1:3 ratio. So now moving on, it says there is a total of 56 tiles and it wants us to work out the number of grey tiles. So if we know 3/4 of the tiles are grey, and so we need to work out the total of grey tiles out of 56 tiles, we are going to literally work out 3/4 of 56. And you can just input that into your calculator, or you could work it out on paper if you want. So in terms of putting that into your calculator, you can either just write it out as 3/4 times 56, or you can put into your calculator 0.5 times 56. Either way, any of these methods are going to get you the same answer. Or you can do the whole 56 divided by 4 times by 3. Either way is fine. And either of those methods should give you an answer of 42. So I'll write the answer here. Okay, moving on to question 6. So it's given us a list of numbers, and then it says, Bridget says that to work out the median, you need to find the middle number. So the median of this is 17. Bridget's answer is not correct. What is wrong with her answer? So with Bridget's method, she is correct in the sense of the median is the middle number. However, whenever you're working out mean, mode, median, it's better when you order the numbers. You have to put the numbers in a chronological order, aka order of smallest first, largest, and then the largest. So we're going to rearrange the order. So the smallest number first is still 12, but it should be written as 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 19, 22. And so now looking at it, the middle number is actually 15, not 17. So the problem is that the numbers are not in order. Okay, then it says work out the range of the number set. So range is your biggest number, take away your smallest number. So since we know that the biggest number in this set is 22, smallest number is 12, put that into your calculator, you get an answer of 10. And then it wants us to work out the mean of the numbers in the list. So remember, mean is your total numbers over, so total numbers, all of them added together, over how many numbers you have. How many you have. So what I mean by that is, so in your calculator, you are literally going to put 12 plus 15 plus 14 plus 17 plus 22 plus 19 plus 20 plus 20 plus 13. So all of them added up, and in total there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers in total. So you're going to put all that in, divide it by 7, and you should get an answer of 16. Okay, moving on to question 7. So Pretty is going to have a meal and she can choose one starter and one main course from the menu. So we need to write down all the possible combinations Pretty can choose. So she can have any of the starters with a main course. So you're literally just going to write it all down. In a maths exam, if it says write down all, you write down all, no matter how long it seems. That's the only way to get all of those marks. So we'll start off with salad as a, wow, I cannot spell today. We'll start off with salad as the starter. So salad can be with pasta as a main course, or salad can be with rice, or salad can be with burger. Then we go down to fish. So fish can be with pasta, or fish can be with rice, or fish can be with burger. Then we go to melon. Melon can be with pasta. Melon can be with rice. Never tried it. I don't think I will, but anyways, for the purpose of this, melon can be with burger. All right, so that's literally it to get all the marks. So going on to question 8, Joanne wants to buy a dishwasher, and the dishwasher costs £372. And she pays a deposit of £36 and then pays the rest in 4 equal monthly payments. So let's have a look. So it would be 372 take away 36 is equal to £336. So after she's paid the deposit, that's how much she's got left to pay. And because they're an installment split over 4 months, we would need to do 336 divided by 4. Put that into your calculator and you should come out with an answer of £84. We go on to question 9. So question 9 says, Davos is a cleaner, and it shows a table of information of how much about the time it would take him to clean each of the 4 rooms in the house. So he wants to clean all 4 rooms in one day. He will have breaks for a total of 75 minutes, and he's going to start cleaning his room at 9 a.m. So will he be finished at 4 p.m.? Well, let's work it out. So we know his total break time is 75 minutes. So now we need to add up his total working time here. So the kitchen is 2 hours plus the sitting room, which is another hour. So that's 3 hours, and then plus the 40 minutes. So kitchen and sitting room is 3 hours, 14 minutes. Then the bedroom is 1.5 hours. Remember, half of an hour is 30 minutes. So that's 1 hour, 30 minutes. And then we need to add that on to the 3 hours, 40 minutes. So the 1 hour and the 3 hours would give us 4 hours. And then 30 minutes plus 40 minutes is 70 minutes. And 70 minutes is equal to 1 hour, 10 minutes. So we need to add that on to the 4. So that would be 5 hours, 10 minutes. I'm doing this working out here because putting this into your calculator, I mean, you could convert them all into decimals or fractions and put them into your calculator, but I'm just going to work it out manually and then add that to the 45 minutes for the bathroom time. That would give you a total time of 5 hours, 55 minutes. So his total break time now is 75 minutes. So we need to add that on. So then 75 minutes is the same as 1 hour, 15 minutes. So add that on. So the 5 and the 1 hour would be 6 hours. 55 plus 15 is 70 minutes. Convert that into hours. That is 1 hour, 10 minutes. Add that on to the 6 hours. That would give you a total of, zoom out, give you a total of 7 hours, 10 minutes. Okay, so his total time is 7 hours, 10 minutes. So now, because he starts at 9 a.m., we need to add that 7 hour, 10 minutes on. So if you add 7 hours to 9 a.m., So 3 hours would get you to 12 p.m. And then add an extra 4 hours. That would get us to 4 p.m. And then add the minutes, the 10 minutes. He would be finished at 10 past 4 p.m. So no, he won't be finished by 4 p.m. because he's finished 10 minutes over. Okay, so looking at question 10, it says ABC. Oh, ABC is a straight line, and it says the length AB is 5 times the length AMBC. So 5-to-1 ratio. And it says A to C is 90 centimeters. So let's work out the length AB. So we've got it as a ratio now. We've got it as a 5-to-1 ratio since it's 5 times bigger. So what we're going to do is add the total parts, which is 6. Then put into your calculator 90 divided by 6. You should get an answer of 15. And then because we know A to B is 5 parts and we know 15 centimeters is equal to 1 part. So to work out what 5 parts are, you would do 15 times 5. And if you put that into your calculator, you should get an answer of 75 centimeters. And if we have a look at question 11, so question 11 says t is equal to 4v plus 3. So it says work out the value of t when v equals 2. I have a video on algebra substitution in the description box down below and suggested above if you need to refresh your memory on this. So having a look at this now, when v is equal to 2, so we're literally, with substitution, you literally replace the letter with the number. So what I mean by that is rather than writing t is equal to 4v plus 3, I'm going to write t bracket 2 plus 3. So bracket means they're going to be times in each other, because remember, if you have letters and numbers next to each other in algebra, it means they're multiplying. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is now 11. So t is equal to 11. All right, so make v the subject of the formula. Again, I have a video on this in the description box down below. So when it comes to rearranging the formula, in my video, I did say think of it as a fence. There's so many methods that you can do to do this, but I'm going to show you both. So one method some people like to do is when you're trying to make a letter a subject, you're basically trying to isolate that letter on its own. So we're trying to make v on its ones. So we could take away 3 on both sides. That would leave you with t minus 3 is equal to 4v. And then divide by 4 on both sides. That would leave you with t minus 3 over 4. Or another way I like to think of it is, if I'm trying to leave v on its own, the first thing I'm going to separate from it is the plus 3. And if you move that over the fence, it becomes the opposite. So plus, the opposite of plus is minus. So that's why it becomes the minus 3. Then remember how I just mentioned that if you've got things next to each other in algebra, it means they're multiplying. So this essentially means 4 times v. So if I move that over, it becomes divide by 4, because the opposite of times is divide. And so you would still end up with the same answer. Either method is fine. I just thought I'd mention both, depending on which one you've learned in school or which one you prefer. Okay. So looking at question 12, it shows a cube of a side length 2 centimeters, and Vera says the volume of any solid made with 6 of these cubes is 48 centimeters cubed. Is Vera correct? Well, let's have a look. We know volume is length times base times width of the cube, so you're basically going to do the 2 times 2 times 2. So if we have a look at this, 2 times 2 times 2, aka 2 cubed, is equal to 8 centimeters cubed. And so if she's saying that the volume of any solid made with 6 of these cubes is 48, if one cube's volume is 8 centimeters cubed, then 6 cubes volume would be 8 times 6. So then 8 times 6, put that into your calculator, you'd get 48 centimeters cubed, which is what Vera is saying. So yes, Vera is correct. Okay, so next question says, draw a cuboid that can be made with 6 of these cubes and write the dimensions of the cuboid on your diagram. So cuboid, it says to write it on our diagram, so we need to draw it first. So if this is badly drawn, I apologize. I am not an artist. Yeah, not too shabby, not too shabby. And it says draw a cuboid that is made up of 6 of these cubes. So we need to have a look at the cube, the main cube. So the one up here. So if it's made up of 6 of them, then the width is going to be multiplied by 6. So 2 times 6 is 12. So that bottom bit will be 12 centimeters. Because the front bit is not being added onto, that is still going to be 2 centimeters cubed because it's still the face of the first cube. And then this is going to be 2 centimeters as well because they're not being piled up on top, they're being piled up along that way. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, and I've written out the measurements because it said write out any dimensions. Okay, so it says work out the surface area of your cuboid. So remember, surface area is to do with the total area of all the faces on a particular 3D shape. So having a look at this question now, we've got this cuboid. So here we've got the 2 front squares. So imagine you could see it, but I'm going to draw it dotted. So you've got those 2 shapes, and that's a 2 by 2. So then the area of one of those shapes would be 2 times 2, which is 4 centimeters squared. But because there's 2 of them, add another one, or times by 2, and that should give you 8 centimeters squared. Then you've got the rectangular part. So the rectangular part is 12 by 2. So working out the area of one of them would be 12 times 2, which is 24 centimeters squared. And then because there would be 4 of them, there's one on the top, one on the side, one on the bottom, one on the other side. You would times 24 by 4, and that would give you a total of 96 centimeters squared, and then you need to add the 8 centimeters plus the 96, and that would give you a total answer of 104 centimeters squared. Okay, so moving on to question 13, it says that the size of the largest angle in the triangle is 4 times the size of the smallest angle, and it says the other angle is 12 degrees less than the largest angle. So we need to work out in degrees the size of each angle in the triangle. So let's quickly sketch a triangle. So largest angle, it's not saying that it's that exact angle, but it's just for drawing scale. So largest one is 4 times, I'm going to call it 4x, size of the smallest angle. And then we don't really know what this angle is. And it says the other angle is 27 degrees less than the largest one. So I'll put 4x minus 27. So then the total angles in a triangle adds up to 180 degrees. So your x plus your 4x plus your 4x minus 27 is equal to 180 degrees. So x plus 4x plus 4x would be 9x minus 27 is equal to 180. Then we're going to rearrange this to work out what x is. So you want to add 27 to both sides or move it over the fence. That's the method I use. So then 9x would be equal to 180 plus 27, which would be 207. And then in your calculator, you want to do 207 divided by 9 to work out what x is, and that would give you an answer of 23. So that means our smallest one is 23 because that's just x. Then the largest one is 4 times 23. So put that into your calculator, you should get an answer of 92. And then for the other angle, it was the largest angle, which was 92, take away 27. So if you put into your calculator 92 take away 27, you should get an answer of 65 degrees. Okay, moving on to question 14 now. It says Andy went on holiday to Canada and his flights cost a total of £1,500. Andy stayed for 14 nights. His hotel room cost $196 per night, and he uses Wi-Fi for 12 days, and the Wi-Fi costs $5 per day. Exchange rate from pounds to dollars or dollars to pounds is $1.90 is £1. It wants us to work out the total of costs of flights, the hotel room, and the Wi-Fi. But the key here is that they want the answer strictly in pounds. I have a video on exchange rates in the description box down below and suggested above. So in terms of how we would tackle this question, what we are going to do is, first of all, his flight cost 100. So I'll put F for flight, H for hotel, and W for Wi-Fi. So his flight is already in pounds. It's £1,500. However, everything else is in dollars, in terms of the hotel room and the Wi-Fi. So first of all, we're going to work out the total of the hotel room for the 14 nights in dollars. So that would be 14 times 195. And doing that would leave you with a total of $2,744. And then in terms of the Wi-Fi total, it was for 12 days at $5 per day. So times that, put that into your calculator, of course, that would be $60. So in terms of the room and the Wi-Fi, the totals are here. So we're going to add these totals together because they're both in the same currency. So put that into your calculator, you would get $2,804. And the reason why I'm saying add it together is because rather than converting one, converting the other, you can just convert them all at once to make your life 10 times easier. So if it says for every $1.90 is £1, we need to, so 190 equals £1. So to go from pound to dollar, you would times by £1.90. And so to go from dollar to pound is the opposite of times, which is divide by £1.90. So because we're going from the $2,804 to pounds, we are going to divide the 2,804 by 190. 1.9. So by doing that, putting that into your calculator, you would get a total of £1,475.79. So that's the total for the hotel room and the Wi-Fi. So we need to add that on to the price of the flights, which was £1,500. Add them together into your calculator, you should get a total answer of 2,975.79. And then it goes on to say, if there were fewer dollars to pounds, what effect would this have on the total cost? Well, if, let's say, it was for every $1.20 is equal to £1, so as in fewer dollars needed to make a pound, if we had to look at this, or even pick a simpler number, if, let's say, obviously this would never happen, but let's say it was from $1 to £1, then to convert from dollars to pounds, we would have done 2,804 divided by 1. And dividing that by 1 would have given us an answer of 2,804, because anything divided by 1 is itself, which is way bigger than the 1,475 that we were left with. So in terms of when it comes to hypothetical questions like this, always try and think of an example, and that would make it would make more sense for you in terms of knowing what answer to write. So my point is that if there were fewer dollars to £1, because we noticed that dividing it by 1, the number was bigger, aka it would cost more money. Okay, so looking at question 15, again, this was in the higher paper for paper 3. We're going to complete the Venn diagram. So if we look at, we've got A, B, and then we've got the weird E sign, which basically means the numbers on the outside, as they've got the E here to represent that. Okay, so now to fill in. So I'm going to label one of the circles A and one of them B. So I'm going to fill A first. So A has the 3, 9, 15, 21, 27, and B has a 5, 15, and 25. So the middle part is what they have in common. So they both have a 15 in common. So I'm going to put the 15 in the middle and remove it on either of their individual sides. They don't have anything else in common. So that's that part done. And then the outside part says all the odd numbers less than 30. So just to make sure I don't miss anything out, I'm going to go through my odd numbers from 1 to 30. So the first one's 1. That's not included between A and B. 3 is there, so I'm not going to write that down. 5 is there, so I'm not going to write that down. 7 is not. 9 is there, so I'm not going to write that down. 11 is not. 13 is not. 15 is, so we're not. 17 is not. 19 is not, 21 is there, 23 is not there, 25 is there, 27 is there, but 29 is there. And obviously 30 is not an odd number, and it does say numbers less than 30 anyway. So that's that bit done. Then it says, what is the probability that the number of set in the set A and then this cup shape B is? So what that shape means is A or, it means or, right? So it means the probability of picking out an A or a B. So in order to do that, we need to add up how many numbers in total are within A or B. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7. And then how many numbers are in total? So we've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 9, 13, 14, 15 out of 15. And that's it. Because remember, probabilities, you can write them as fractions, decimals, or percentages, depending on what you've been given. But in this scenario, a fraction is the easiest way to write this probability. So moving on to question 16, we're doing simultaneous equations, description boxes, video in the description box down below for linear simultaneous equations, and this was also mentioned in the higher paper as well. So let's go through it. So with simultaneous equations, I'm going to just rewrite it out and be talking at the same time. So with simultaneous equations, you basically want the x's to be the same, or you want the y's to be the same. So in this scenario, the x's are already the same, which makes our life 10 times easier. So the next step after you've got at least the x's or the y's the same is that you're going to take them away from each other. Everything. So if you took away 3x minus 3x, you'd be left with nothing. That's the whole point of why we're making them the same, and I'll explain why. And then y minus minus 4, when you've got two negatives together, what happens? It becomes a positive. So it'll be y plus 4y, which would be 5y. And then you've got minus 4 minus 6. If you put into your calculator, you get minus 10. So then to work out what y is, you would divide by 5 on both sides, and that would give you minus 2. So that's the whole point as to why we make at least the x's the same or the y's the same. So they could cancel out, and so you can at least work out what one of them is. So now we know what y is. The last bit is we're going to substitute our value of y into any of these two equations above. So I'm going to substitute into the first equation purely because it just has y on its own, no number in front, so no extra maths to do. So 3x minus 2, remember, because it's minus 2, is equal to minus 4, then just rearrange. So 3x, take away 2 on both sides, sorry, plus 2 on both sides, because that's the opposite, is equal to, so minus 4 plus 2 would be minus 2, and then x would be, so to work out what x is, we need to divide by 3 on both sides, and that would leave us with an answer of x is equal to minus 2 thirds. And then just fill your answers in the area that they want you to. Okay, so moving on to question 17. So question 17, it's given us a table of different dress sizes for 25 women, and it wants us to work out the median dress size. So remember, median, we saw the term median earlier, so median means your middle value. So if we've got 25 women, to work out the median you need to work out the middle number. So to work out what nth number that is, you do the total plus 1 divided by 2. So putting that into your calculator, that would leave you with 13. So we're trying to work out the 13th number. So if we add the 2 and the 9, we get 11. So it's definitely not within this because we've only got up to the 11th number. So that means the 13th number must be within the 12 dress sizes. So the median dress size is 12. Okay. And then moving on down, it says 3 out of 25 women have a shoe size of 7. Mrs. Zoe says that if you choose at random one of the 25 women, the probability that she has either a shoe size of 7 or a dress size of 14 is 9 out of 25, because you would add 3 out of 25 plus 6 out of 25. Well, this is wrong, because when it comes to a probability of either or of an or, right? An or probability, so it's either or can happen. Yes, you would add together, but also you have to consider if it's either as well, you can have women that have both shoe size of a 7 and a dress size of 14. And this calculation does not consider that. So no, excuse the messy handwriting, because some women may have both. Size 7 shoes and size 14 dress size. Okay, so moving on to question 18. So it says Daniel bakes 420 cakes, and he says he bakes only vanilla, banana, lemon, and chocolate cakes. So it's given us the proportion of vanilla and banana cakes. One is a fraction, one is a percentage, and it's given us the ratio of lemon to chocolate cakes. And it basically wants us to work out the number of lemon cakes Daniel bakes. So we need to dissect this one bit at a time. So first of all, it says 2/7 of the cakes are vanilla. So we need to work out the total of vanilla cakes. So we would do 2/7 times 420, or you could do 420 divided by 7 times by 2. Either way would give you the answer. And working that out would give you an answer of 120. So we know there's 120 vanilla cakes. Then it says 35% of the cakes are 420. So remember, with percentages, you would do 420 divided by 100 to work out what 1% is, times by 35, because that's how much percent are banana cakes. And doing that would give you 147, or another shortcut is multiplying it by 0.35, because that's the equivalent of 35% as a decimal. So now we know how many banana cakes there are, how many vanilla cakes there are. To work out the leftover of lemon and chocolate cakes, we would do 420, take away the total of vanilla, which was 120, take away the total banana, which was 147. Putting that into your calculator would give you an answer of 153. So we know the total of lemon to chocolate cakes is 153. But it says that it's a 4:5 ratio. So again, dealing with ratios, the first thing to work out how many parts, to work out what 4 parts are, because remember 4 parts of the lemon cakes, you need to add the numbers in the ratio. So 4 plus 5 is 9. Divide 153 by 9 into your calculator. That would give you an answer of 17. So you know 17 is equal to 1 part. So to work out what 4 parts are, you would times 17 by 4. And putting that into your calculator would give you 68. So therefore, we know that the number of lemon cakes is 68. And then question 19. So it's given us a cut-off 12-sided polygon, and long story short, it wants us to show that polygon P is a hexagon. So these questions like to confuse people, which I mentioned in the higher video, because this question was also in the higher video. So yes, they like to confuse people because you see this shape and you're thinking, wait a minute, this is not 12-sided, I cannot see it complete. They've just basically dissected it out. And same with polygon P. They've done that on purpose to confuse you. So let's go through it. So the first things first is, this is to do with your angles and polygons, which I have a video in the description box down below. So in regards to angles of polygons, you have 2 things you can work out. The first thing is your exterior angle. So we're going to work out the exterior angle of the 12-sided polygon. And so exterior angle is 360 divided by number of sides. 12-sided polygon has 12 sides. So put that into your calculator, that will be 30 degrees. So exterior angle of 30 degrees. And then to work out the interior angle, because we want to know what each of these angles are in this 12-sided shape. So interior angle is 180 minus your exterior angle, which in this case is 30 degrees. And that would be 150 degrees. So we know each of those angles is 150. We know that in a square, they're all made up of right angles, and we know a right angle is 90 degrees. And then to work out the interior angle in polygon P, we can see that this is kind of formulated a circle. And we know that a circle adds up to 360. So we would do 360 minus 90 minus 150 into your calculator. That will give you an answer of 120 degrees. So we know the interior angle is 120, and because we know that interior angle can be worked out doing 180 take away the exterior angle, to now work out the exterior angle when we have our interior angle, it would be 180 take away 120. That will give you an answer of 6 degrees. And then to work out the number of sides, is 360 divided by your exterior angle, which is 60. And putting that into your calculator, would be 6. Remember, don't try and find a degree sign on your calculator. If you see me doing it in my working out, don't think, oh, I'm not going to get the right answer. No, just focus on the numbers. So then, because we've now worked out that there are 6 sides, and we know a hexagon has 6 sides, we can say polygon. So therefore, that means therefore in maths, polygon P is a hexagon, as it has 6 sides. Good. All right, on to question 20. Not long left, guys. You guys, to have been to this far of this video, you've done well for keeping up. We've only got a few questions left. So it's given us different densities of different liquids, so apple juice, fruit syrup and carbonated water, and it's given us the volumes of the apple juice and the fruit syrup and the carbonated water and the total volume. So we're trying to work out the total volume of the total drink, considering all these other mixes being added. So this is really using your density, mass, and volume, and this is the triangle for remembering how to formulate the formulas for that. So make note of that if you did not know this. Okay, so first things first, in order to work out total density based from this pyramid, the equation is density is equal to mass over volume. So to work out the total density, we need to do the total mass divided by the total volume. So let's try and work out the total mass. So in terms of the total mass, what we need to do is, it hasn't really given us any mass, so we need to work out each individual mass of each individual juice, since we have the density of all of them and we have their individual volumes as well. So for the apple juice, I'll just call it AJ. So for the apple juice mass, so rearranging this formula using the triangle, mass is equal to density times volume. So mass of the apple juice will be the density of the apple juice, which was 1.05, times the volume, which was 25. Put that into your calculator, you'd get an answer of 26.25. And then for the fruit juice, so I'll just put F for fruit syrup. I keep saying fruit juice. The density was 1.4 times the volume, which is 15. Into your calculator, that'll be 21. And then for the carbonated water, the density was 0.99 times the volume, which was 280, which would give you 277.2. So now we need to add all these masses together to work out the total mass. And that'll give us a total mass of 324.45. So then now to work out the total volume, luckily the total volume has just been given to us already. So that would be 320. So the total mass divided by total volume into your calculator would give you a total answer of 1.01, and then the unit for density is already given in the answer area down below. So just be 1.01 grams over centimeters cubed. Okay. So moving on to question 21, it says show that these two triangles are mathematically similar. So I do have a video on similarity in regards to lengths, which is what we're going to be doing in the description box down below. So in regards to tackling these questions, so notice how if we're trying to show that they're mathematically similar, then what we need to do is we need to make sure that all the lengths in the shape that are similar to each other, when we divide them, they need to all give the same scale factor. So to work out scale factor, you need to do length 2 divided by length 1. So what I mean by that is, let's look at this one. So we've got 7.5 centimeters, and that's the same length, the same-ish length would be there in terms of the 3 centimeters. So in order to work out the scale factor, you always want to do the bigger one. So as your length 2. So 7.5 divided by 3 into your calculator will give you an answer of 2.5. Okay, so this one has given us a scale factor of 2.5. So we need to hope that when we do all the other ones divided by each other, we get the same scale factor. So let's look at the 10. So we've got 10 centimeters and the same corresponding length is 10 centimeters. Sorry, is 4 centimeters. So 10 divided by 4, which would be 2.5 as well. Okay, so one more. We're hoping that this would be our golden ticket to show that they're similar. So 12.5 divided by 5 into your calculator would give you 2.5 as well. Yes, so therefore, because they all have this scale, because they all have the same scale factor, therefore they are similar. Okay, good. Oh, it's decided to come with me. So, having a look at question 22. So, question 22, it says complete the table of values for y is equal to 6x. And so, in order to, 6 over x. So, to do that, you literally just want to keep substituting each value of y given here. Sorry, each value of x given here to work out what y is. So, let's have a look at the first one. So, it says, the first one is when x is 0.5, so you just put into your calculator x divided by 0.5, which should give you an answer of 12. Then 6 divided by 1 for the next value is 6. That's already been done for us. I don't know why I did it. And the next missing one is when x is equal to 1.5. So 6 divided by 1.5 in your calculator should give you an answer of 4. Then the next one missing is when x is equal to 3, so 6 divided by 3 is 2. And then when x is equal to 5, so 6 divided by 5 is 1.2. And then 6 divided by 6, which is 1. Okay, so now that we've input all those values into the table, part B of it is saying on the grid, draw the graph of y is equal to 6 over x for the values of x from 0.5 to 6. So literally now you're just going to plot each point. So the first point is when x is 0.5, y is 12. So I'm going to find where 0.5 is on the x-axis, which is there. Y is 12, which is there. Plot that on. And then when x is equal to 1, y is equal to 6, which would land there, and then so on. So we're just going to keep filling that in. So x is 1.5, y is 4, x is 2, y is 3, x is 3, y is 2, and so on. Yep, so now that we've drawn that on, I'm just going to try and draw a nice curve connecting everything. Okay, so having a look at question 23. This is the final question, guys. So in this question, it says Harley's house has a value of 160k, £1,000. So to the correct two significant figures. So it wants us to write down the smallest possible value of his house. So the smallest possible value, if it's rounded to two significant figures, would therefore have to be, so if we write down 150,000, 160,000. So because we're focusing on the smallest possible value, I'm just going to write those two ranges. So the smallest possible value would have to be 155,000, because remember, if you end in a 5, it would round up. So 155,000. And then write down the greatest value. So the greatest value would be the opposite end. So the greatest value would be 165,000. Okay. And then looking at part B, it says work out the value of Rita's house increased by, no, it doesn't say work out the value. It says the value of Rita's house increased by 5%. Her house then had a value of £210,000. Work out the value of Rita's house before the increase. So let's have a look. So it says when it was increased, the value is now £210,000, which means £210,000 is equal to 105%. So we need to work out what 100% is. So if we know 210,000 is equal to 105%, to work out what 1% is, we would divide by 105. So in your calculator, put in 210,000 divided by 105, and that should give you an answer of 2,000 is equal to 1%. So now to work out what 10% is, we're going to times by 100, and that should give you an answer of 20, sorry, not 20, give you an answer of 200,000 is equal to 100%. So this is the answer. So it'll be £200,000. You don't need to put the comma in, as long as you've got all the answers in, but I like to just write the comma in. So that's the end of that past paper. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope this was useful. Please, please, please comment down in the comment down below if you have any questions in regards to this paper, or if you would like any future content. Thanks for watching.